Good afternoon, grade 10 and grade 11 learners, as well as my colleagues, your teachers. It's me again. Yesterday I was with the grade 12s preparing for the test that comes on the 19th. And today, you're supposed to be Mema Thudi and Mr. Koba, but I'm going to be here on their behalf because they could not come to the studio. So my name is Martin Chabalala. I'm the Provincial Coordinator of Mathematical Literacy. I'm your father of Math Lit. I know you all in the whole province. And I know if you are becoming naughty in the class. All right, I'm just kidding. On a lighter note, welcome, sit back as we are going to discuss what to expect in the two test papers, which is grade 11 and grade 10. I'm going to start with grade 11, test preparation, then I will quickly go to grade 10, also test preparation. I must emphasize that the two subjects or the two grades will also be written on the 19th of April. So you better be ready, my grade 11s and my grade 10s. But let me start with the grade 11s. Grade 11s must listen very attentively, and there is less paperwork or whatever document. Camera is not going to work today. I'm just going to focus on the PowerPoint that I've prepared for you, and you'll only succeed or you'll only be fortunate if you can listen to me attentively. Let today be listening be a skill. I'm not going to have a long time. I'm just going to have almost 1 hour for both of two grades. So I'm starting with grade 11s. My colleagues, teachers, I know that you are busy with some of the aspects of term 1. So my presentation will be based on I will start with, why this light is not going, Bobby? Yes, there we are. Thank you very much. I'm here at FS-IBP. I'm with Mr. Bobby. He's our technician here. He's making things happen. He's the one that makes you to see me and see all this, information of today. Like I've said to you, grade 11s, I will start with term 1 work. What's supposed to be in term 1, work schedule. In general, not only what is in the test. So this is just to remind you that come the end of this term, on the 23rd of April, when you go for this short holiday, you should have done all the things that I'm going to talk about now. Then amongst those things, most of them will be part of the test. All right. The first part is basic skills that you did with your teachers: the number formats, operations, conversions, rates, ratios, proportions, rounding, etc. Then if you are in grade 11, you should have done some of the things in grade 10, but your teachers will have applied maybe 1 or 2 days to go through this, just to remind you. But like I've said yesterday to the grade 12s, that this is part of the basics that you really know, or you deal with as you deal with other topics. So basically, you must be okay. You must know how to convert, how to write numbers in ratios. What do we mean by proportion? What do we mean by a rate? What do we mean by rounding, etc.? And the other part that is very important, which is the big topic, it is the topic of measurement. Measurement, it is divided into two in this term. It is measurement, where we are focusing on conversions. We are focusing on conversions, folks. It is very important that for us to note that this part, it takes a lot of marks also, even in the final examination. So it is very important that you understand this measurement topic thoroughly, so that you can be ready even for the test, even for the examinations. And you need to know how to convert from solid to liquid. From solid to liquid. Okay, for an example, you need to know how to move from kilograms to liters. You must know how to move from, even vice versa, from liters to kilograms, and how to convert between temperatures, different types of temperatures, the Celsius, degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, or from Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. Just a mistake that degree was not supposed to be in the second one, was supposed to be on the other side, Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. So you need to know, go back, go forward, and go back. You must know how to do that. And you must be knowing that your teachers are maybe busy with that, or they have already taught you that. I can see you're nodding your head and say, Mr. Chawala, this is pop and milk. I know these things. They're very simple. Measurements, again, under time. My grade 11, sometimes you falter here, sometimes you fall here. You stumble when coming to time. And time is not so much difficult because it's what you are dealing with on a daily basis. You wake up, when you wake up in the morning, is an alarm that will wake up. You must go and bath so that you can come to school. You know that the periods in the classroom, you take a certain period of time, and you know what, the breaks and all the stuff. So time is part of us. And that's why I like the subject mathematical literacy, because it deals with everyday life aspects. But what must you know under time? Interpreting various time formats. What do you mean by a digital and analog? It's like I saw something like that in the test. I'm just laughing. Interpreting various time formats, know what we mean by digital and analog. So which one is analog? Analog is the one that has the needle that can move from 12, 1 like that, and digital, it is 7 digits. It can go with those digits. And calculating elapsed time, duration, how long should it take? How long will it take from you to walk from your home to the school, you say, hey, I'm leaving home at 6:30, 7 o'clock, I'm at school. How long does it take for you to move, to walk? It's for how much? You must know that it's 30 minutes. In hours, it's half an hour. Know those things. That is all about elapsed time. How long does it take for a train to move from one point to another? A bus, it takes whatever. Interpreting time, recording formats. How do you write the time? Do you AM, the PMs? You remember those? 24 hours format. Those are the things that you need to know under this topic of time, or measurement section of time. Lesson and examination timetable. We have already spoken about the period that that mathematical literacy normally takes 45 minutes, or it takes 1 hour. Ke period ya ntate Chawalala. Oh, ke period ya ntate Makhalanyane. It's period of ntate Jani. So you must know those, how long does it take for a lesson? Okay, it starts at 8:30. It's mathematical literacy. If it takes 45 minutes, I know that at 9:15, it is the end of the period. And the exam timetable also, it is also planned according to time, that from 9 to 12 o'clock is mathematical literacy. Things like that. All these aspects, they fall under what? Time. You must know how to use time when you are planning trips. Just the holidays now, other people, they're from Durban, others are from Cape Town, Mpumalanga. We want to be, we arrive in Durban at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, let's leave at around about, 8 in the morning, if you are moving from Bloemfontein maybe to Durban. So, you plan, it's time. How long will I take, if we are traveling by by bus or whatever. So, and all the costs that are related to what? To time. And Now, as we continue, we talk about relationships. I'm sorry. What are you supposed to know under relationships? Direct and inverse proportion. Direct and inverse proportion. What is direct and inverse proportion, Mr. Chabalala? Things that are opposite to each other. Okay. You know, when I'll make an example that if we have more what you call people, maybe in a buggy or whatever, the slower the buggy will go. Less people, because the weight is less now, it will go faster. So we can say that weight is going to be inversely proportional to what? To the speed and all the stuff. So those are the things that you need to know. Patterns, formula, and graph. If you are given a graph, out of the graph, you can come up with a formula, or you can also manipulate a formula from the table that we're given. That's what we call relationships by means of table. Two relationships by means of graph on the same set of axes. Okay, you have time versus speed. Those are the two aspects that you can also represent on a graph. Determining the dependent and independent variables by means of substituting and solving. That the speed, it is now also depending on the on the distance. You get a point? So you need to know which one is depending on the other one, which one is independent, that is standing on its own. Identify graphically the point of intersection. No, we don't do calculation as such in grade 11, but we can see that when the two graphs meet, we say they are that point is a break-even point and it's an intersection point. And compare two tariffs on the graph. Okay, so maybe we can talk about we've got different types of tariffs. Yes, maybe electricity and water. Different time tariffs like the parking tariffs, etc. Vis-a-vis time. The time determined break-even point I've already alluded to. When you talk about a break-even point in business, it's when the income is equal to the expenditure. That is a break-even point. And the two graphs where they meet, we call that point a break-even point. All right. And you see, grade 11, it has more work. We've got more work to do in term 1. Your teachers will also deal with the scale. And under scale, you must know how to work with number scale and bar scale. Do you remember what the difference between a number scale and a bar scale? Why are you changing in your faces? You must know what is a number scale and a bar scale. Map measurement, how do you measure for distance from one point to another? Maybe it's from Botterville to Viljoenskroon, and you must use the scale that is given to get the distance there. Remember those things. So these are the things that you must know under scale. Then under maps, know the sitting and layout plans. Okay? It can be a sitting in a cinema, a sitting in a hall. Okay? And a plan of a mall or whatever. You must know those things. Street maps with and without grid reference. What is a grid reference? You must know the grid reference. We normally do it in grade 10 when we are looking for a certain place. Maybe it is in A1 or C2 or B3. Yes, now you remember. Yes, Mr. Chawlala, we can remember. You mustn't forget these things. National and provincial road and rail maps. Those are types of roads that you need to know in grade 11. When you talk about N1, it means what? It's a national road. N8, moving from Botshabelo to Bloemfontein, going to Tabanchu, whatever, we call that N8. That is a national road. But we've got roads that we call them, we say those are provincial. You take an example, a road like R30. Is the road between Bloemfontein to Welkom, passing Brandfort, Tennessee. You see that? Yes, yes, it passed that Concordia, their school there, and the other school in Tennessee, fire, and going to, what you call, to Velcom. Those are the provincial roads. Normally they will be given as R, not P, like in a national road it is N. So you must not be confused there. You must know that whenever you see R30, R7, so those are the provincial roads. Or sometimes they are called regional roads. That R stands for that, but normally it is termed provincial. Strip charts showing distances. That map that has something like a chart is moving and gives you a distances. Elevation maps, whether it's a north elevation, a south elevation, you've got a house, different views. Those are the elevations, you must know them. Residential or housing estate maps. Those are the some of the things that you really need to know for term 1. If you can do all those things, you know that, term 1 kimnati, then you can smile with your teacher and say, oh, you are working, Meram, you are working very hard. Oh, Memlete, you are working very hard. You become so excited because this teacher of yours has pushed the work with you, and you are also holding hands and working together to finish term 1 work. Okay, let's continue now. I think the next slide is getting into the real business of today. What are we expecting in the test of grade 11? Okay, let me go forward, not backward, Mr. Chabalala. Oh, you see grade 11. Grade 11 is really, it's a big test. Grade 12 is going to be about 60 marks. I showed the grade 11 yesterday, grade 12 yesterday. But let us look at grade 11. Grade 11 is going to be 75 marks, a whopping 75 marks. But don't be scared because you'll be ready. Okay? The grade 11 layout will be like this. It will be having 4 questions. 4 questions, total of 75 marks all in all. Question 1, 15 marks. Question 2, 21 marks. Question 3, 24 marks. Question 4, 10 marks. Okay. Mr. Chawla, what will be in question 1? In question 1, expect financial document. And a financial document, you should have done it even from grade 10. Okay. And there are lots and lots and lots of financial documents. We've got the till slip. We've got the invoice. We've got the quotations. We've got the bank statement. Lots and lots. We've got a salary slip. So for the test, we are also scaling it down. We don't want to confuse you. Expect only one of the two. You see, or means that it's either this one or this one. So in the test of the 19th of April, the very first question, it is financial document, and it will be focusing on salary slip or invoice, meaning that you have to go back and look for the questions that are dealing with salary slip or invoice. Practice them. Okay? You practice them in such a way that you are going to be conversant with what is going to be in the paper. All right? And what I like about Maths Lit is that if the scenario is like that, the question might change, but the scenario, it is more similar. When we say salary slip, it's a salary slip. When we say an invoice, it's an invoice. Depends whether it is an invoice of Ntate Chabalala or Bobby's what you call salary slip. But the context remains the same. So if we are said we are going to focus on salary slip, expect salary slip or invoice. And what must you know? There are lots of basic skills in that question that emanates from the financial document, such as percentages and ratios. You can see that on a salary slip there, maybe you have a deduction of this person is earning 15,000 per month as the net salary, and he's got a deduction of 150. And the question will ask you and say, what is the percentage of that deduction of 150, whether it's a policy or a loan or whatever. So you must just go and calculate the percentage based on the net. Then you get your value, you get your marks. There will be a lot of questions that can come out that will make up that 15 marks. Perhaps you have and two amounts there, and the amount of the deduction of what you call an allowance of 500, and on the other side you've got a deduction of 1,000. The question says write those two as the ratio. So you are just going to say 500 is to 1,000, 1,000 is to 5. You get your ratio there. You can simplify it. It will depend as to what that is the question wants. So basically on the financial document, but there can be a lot of questions. Remember, on the salary slip, there must be a name of the owner of the salary slip. The question will say, give us the surname of the person there. If it is written, it is what you call Pete Kukemur. What is the surname? Kukemur. You get your 2 marks. Remember, we don't have questions of 1 mark anymore in MathLit. You get your 2 marks by just identifying the surname. And the question can ask you, what is an invoice? You must write in words. The invoice is a what. What is a salary slip? You must write it in words. And it can also give you that salary slip. It can have also maybe a what? And what you call a gross and your net salary. The question can say, calculate the difference between the net salary and the gross. You subtract the 2, you get the value. So there can be a lot of questions that can be asked under what you call a pay slip or an invoice. So do you get the point? So that 15 marks, go and practice either salary slip or invoice. I'm giving you the clue of what is in the test. There is no need to fail. Grab that 15 marks. Voila! Put it in the pocket. You see? Question 2. It will be 21 marks. 21 marks. My grade 11s. What will be in that question 2, Mr. Chabalala? Time. A lot of marks. How, Mr. Chabalala? Only time? Time can really make up 21 marks. Oh my God, what will be in that time? There can be a lot of questions. If you're listening to me, as I was outlining, what must be under time? You can see there can be a lot of questions under time. And it's not going alone. Based on those questions of time, there can also be a question of probability there. Expect that. Based on the scenario that will be given. And know the difference between types of watches. Which are those? Yes, John, you are right. You are right, yes. Analog and digital. That's wonderful. Bayamoy, tawekela chocolate. And no, what do you mean by elapsed time? Okay, maybe there will be a scenario that is given there that Bobby is traveling from South Campus, for 20 minutes to, let me make an example, maybe to Hededal, 20 minutes. If Bobby has left, University of Free State South Campus at 15:45, at what time will he be at home? So you need to calculate the time from at 20 minutes from 15:45 and see it ends up at what time. I can see that you say, Mtade Chawla is easy. He'll be home. He'll be home at at 5 past what you call 5 past 5. How did you get it right? Oh, 20 minutes, 16:45, meaning that, oh yes, I'm adding 15 minutes, it goes to 5 o'clock. For me to get to 20, I add another 5 minutes, it's going to be 17:05, which is 5 past 5 to be wrong. So you have calculated the time between those 2 points. Okay, that's the time that has elapsed. Know those things. And you must know how to deal with conversion. The question can say to you, if he's traveling 20 minutes, write that 20 minutes in hours. Oh, Mr. Shabalala, how will I get it? You must know that how many minutes do we have in an hour. To deal with hours, you're gonna divide with 60 minutes, and you get your your hours. So it is very, very important that you practice everything that is related to time. Okay, and not only that, perhaps go and check under time. Also, the issue of the timetable, the school timetable. Forgot to write it there. There might be a question on the school timetable. Remember, I spoke about it. Which other possible questions can be asked under school timetable? And practice and practice and practice. I won't give you. I told you that I don't have enough time really to give you to work out example and all the stuff. But as I'm talking to you, I'm expecting you to write notes, and I know your teachers are also listening. They'll make sure that when I finish here, and tomorrow they start also revising if they are done with the term 1 work, so that they can prepare you for test. But I know majority are still really dealing with other topics. So there might be a question of probability. Determine or the probability of of arriving home on a certain time, in fraction, in decimal. You get a point? So you know the questions of probability. Prepare yourself on that. Okay. The third question, we passed that one of time. Don't forget, question 2 is time. And time has different sections that you need to prepare yourself with. Question 3, for 24 marks. Oh, that is the biggest question with a lot of marks. That is 24 marks. Finance. Under finance, we are going to focus on relationship table with income and expenditure, as well as cost and selling price. Okay? What are the relationships? We spoke about the relationship. You might be given a table, and that table will be giving you the the rate of 2 buses, all right, or trains. If this is Shosholoza train or if it is main line, this one from this place to this place, it charges so much. This one from this place, it charges so much. The same places, you find that there are 2 different trains with different cost per trip. So you must be able to check the relationship between those 2 trains and answer the questions that follow based on that particular table that is given. And out of that, you can also be asked to come up with a formula. Calculate the formula or the cost or the expenditure formula for this particular relationship. Okay, and it can also extend to the question where it give you the scenario of a business cost and selling price, whether this person who's owning this train, are they making money or not, based on the cost and the selling price. So hence we are having income and expenditure there. So you must expect a relationship in such a way that it is two variables that are given, or two concepts in one table. And you need also to know how to draw a graph from that particular relationship table. Okay? That graph can be a bar graph, or it can be a what you call, it can be a line graph. Most of the time it becomes a line graph if it is the scenario of finance. Okay, question 4. Question 4. For 10 marks, we are dealing with conversions and ratios. Conversions and ratios. What is the scenario, Mr. Chabalala? What is the context? The context is the cooking or baking, what you call recipe or ingredients. So have you seen those questions where you'll be given that here is the recipe or for making what you call, or for baking muffins, or for cooking pasta, and it gives you the ingredients that the flour will be what you call so much, 420 grams or 100 grams, 5 cups of sugar, you see that, 2 eggs, and a pinch of salt. You remember those? A little bit of what you call vanilla or whatever. So those are the ingredients that might appear on that particular recipe that you are given. But what will be the question that will follow? The question will also guide you. And read the information down there. There will be note that 1 cup is equal to 5 milligrams or so much milligrams. Those are the smaller mistakes sometimes that you or what you call aspect that you ignore, and it impacts on your what? On your answering of questions. So go and prepare something on the what you call the ingredients, so that you can deal with the conversions. It can say to you, convert this 500 grams of flour to what? To kilograms. You must know how to move from grams to what? To kilograms. Those are the things you must know under that. There can be a question of temperature. Yes, therefore there will be also a question of temperature. Know that how to move from degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, how to move from what you call Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. Do not forget that. Okay. And there will also be questions on ratios. Remember, things like ratios and conversions are those are your basic skills that you really need to be conversant with if you are dealing with them. And we don't expect you to really to struggle to write a certain 2 numbers as a ratio. You must be knowing them from grade 10. All right. I'm done with grade 11. This is your test layout. Let me just recap 4 questions, 15, 21, 24, 10 marks. Total is 75 marks. And let us not forget that the moment you have 75, you cannot expect, you cannot be given 2 hours or you can 3 hours. 75, it's 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, your teachers will give you that time. But you must plan your time well. Look at your questions and plan which one are you going to start with. If you are going with question 1, 2, 3, 4, ensure that you attempt all the questions so that you can really maximize your marks. It is very important but you plan, and because sometimes you can find that 90 minutes is finished, 1.5 hour, you have only answered 2 questions. Then you keep on, then you're going to cry after that and say, but I knew question 3 and question 4, but because of time. It's because you did not plan enough. Plan. 5 minutes that will be given to check the question paper and all the stuff and know exactly what must be, prioritized in that particular question paper. And I must emphasize that these tests are very important as part of your school-based assessment, which will be part of your final examination. Don't take them for granted. Don't take them light. Take them seriously. Make sure that you get level 6, level 7 upwards there in that particular test. It will boost your 25% of your SPA at the end of the year. Even those investigations, the assignments mainly, you must really take them serious because they impact on the your what you call final school-based assessment, which is called SPA. All right, Lemnatima grade 11, are you okay? If you're okay, I'm going to pass to my fellow grade 10s, and I can see they are getting ready. That Mr. Chawalala, we also want to know what will be in grade 10. Grade 11, good luck, all of the best. On the 19th, as you will be writing this test. Keep on watching this video, and so that you can write down what you're supposed to, what you call focus on and practice as you really prepare yourself for the grade 11 test of the 19th. I'm going to straight away, I'm not even going to take break, I'm going to go straight, Bobby, to grade 10 so that we can really see what will be possible questions under grade 10. But grade 10, my grade 10s, don't worry, you are going to, we are going to, RS10, yes, RS10. We are going to focus on your test, which is not so much really difficult at all. Those are the basics. You can get full marks. Yes, yes, you can get full marks. Welcome, grade 10, to this test preparation, and I hope you'll enjoy this presentation as you are preparing yourself for the grade 10 test that will be written on the 19th of April 2021, meaning that it is 12 days from now. You have 12 days to prepare yourself for the upcoming test and make Tate Chawalala happy, make your teacher happy, make your parent happy by grabbing all the marks. You see, if you are given a paper, it is 50 marks. We are basically saying, hey, the Makato, here is your 50 marks. Hello, TD, here is your 50 marks. Hello, Pete, this is your 50 marks. It depends from you whether you are going to cut off the marks and say, I'm throwing away these 5 marks. I don't want these 3 marks. I don't want these 2 marks, until you are left with 10 out of 50. You see, you cannot blame us. We gave you 50 marks, and it's up to you whether you play with it or not. So if I was you, I was going to really ensure that I grab the whole 50 marks and I keep it until the end so that I can get level 7 in my test. Right, I can see that you are ready and you are listening very attentively. Let's continue. We are going to continue with grade 10. But first of all, let's check what must be in term 1 work. Term 1 work schedule together with your teachers. I know that they are also listening to me and they are busy with some of the topics, but I know that they are done with the basic skills, which are number formats, operations and calculators, rounding, ratios, proportions and rates, percentage, patterns and relationships in tables. You see, in grade 10, it is very important that you understand these number formats. What do we mean by number formats? How can you write in number? Okay, operations and calculator. How do you operate a calculator? Maybe you are having 65 multiplied by 7 and close bracket plus 15. You get a point. How do you really operate your calculator? Do you have calculators? You cannot do mathematical literacy without a calculator. You must have your calculator, and it must belong to you. Don't borrow a calculator when you're going to write, because it will show you flames. You know, other people can borrow your calculator, and that is not that doesn't have batteries, and it will be an embarrassment. And remember, it's a COVID now. We don't borrow from each other. We don't, lend and say, no, I'll give you my calculator so that you can use it. What is yours is yours. Your pen is your pen. Your pencil is your pen. Your calculator is your calculator. So ensure that you have yours. Rounding. How to round up? Round to the nearest 5, nearest 10. Those are the basics that you did in grade 4, grade 5, grade 6. But I know some others are still struggling. But I trust you that you really recap on that, because some of the questions will say to you, round off your answer to the nearest 10 or whatever. So it is very important that you understand the concept of ratios. Proportions and rates also, of rounding. You must also know ratios. Remember, in ratios, we can write a ratio in a simplified form. For an example, you've got 20 is to 100. You must write it in a simplified form. You divide both by 20, it's going to be 1:5. You get a point? It was ratio. You have a certain number, two numbers. It is 300 and 1,600. Or 1,200. Write those two numbers in a ratio. It's going to be 300 is to 1,200. They can say write it as a unit ratio, meaning that it must be 1 is to something. And it means that it's going to be 300 divided by 300, 1,200 divided by 300. It's going to give you 1:4. Okay, because there are 4 300s in 1,200. Those are the ratios, proportions and rates. And how do we apply even the ratios? That if Martin and Sipho, they are sharing, or what you call it, the ratio of 1:3, they are sharing 2,500. How much will Martin get? How much will Sipho get? You must be able to apply that. Proportions and rate. Okay. We deal with direct proportion, inverse proportion. The rates also, what is the rate of this train? Charge so much, charges 15 rand per hour, whatever. Those are the rates that we are talking about. Know the percentage. Okay? Very, 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 very important when you deal with the percentage. Right? This number is a percentage, or find the percentage of this whatever concept that you are having. And remember, the percentage also, when you are dealing with VAT, also it is 15%, all the stuff. You can still also cut across that. Patterns and relationships in tables. You are having two variables in a table. The other one can be A, the other one can be B, and maybe it can be number of donuts, and we get a point, number of or the amount of sold for each and every maybe donuts. You can say 15 donuts. If one donut costs 10 rand, how much will you have done? If you have sold 15, then it will be 150, things like that. So those are the patterns and relationships. Out of that, a graph can come out, a smaller graph, or what you call a graph, like a straight line graph, or a line graph. We call it a line graph, not a straight line graph. In Meslit, you don't have that. Determining the independent variables under the patterns and relationship. Which value is depending on each other. If we have the axis, the y-axis, the x-axis, maybe we have time versus distance. You get a point. The other one is a dependent variable, the other one is an independent. Maximum and minimum value. If you're having the distance that was run by this grade, 10 learners, or the time taken to run 100 meters. This one took about 10 seconds, or 9 seconds. That was the lowest. The other one ran with 15. So the lowest is 10 and the highest is 15. Maximum is 15, minimum is 10 seconds. You see that? Those are the things that you need to know. The ascending and the descending. Relationship of direct and inverse proportion. And graphs, missing values in a table. I'm rushing now. Rush determining a formula of a relationship. Construct a patterns to form a formula. Identify and extend patterns from a formula. Remember, if you are having a table with two variables, out of that the formula can be what you call determine, and you can draw graph. Maybe it's an income and expenditure. Martin Chawalala is selling what you call apples, or he's selling what you call airtime or whatever. He's selling water, bottle of 500 milliliters, bottled water, and if it costs 5 rand, if he has sold 15, how much income will he have and all the stuff. So those are the relationships or the graphs that out of that you can maybe draw the graph of income and expenditure. And for 15 bottles of water, he made 1,500. Okay, that is the income. You see that? What was the expenditure out of that? Maybe the expenditure was 1,000. What is the profit? 1,500 minus 1,000 is 500. And out of that, you can come up with a graph of an income and a graph of a what? Of expenditure on the same set of axes. Okay, don't forget that. Don't forget that. That is for grade 10. And let's check again, what must you do? It's not all for term 1. For term 1, I'm sorry. You must also know representations of relationship, completing tables of relationship using formula and descriptions or descriptions. I've already alluded to that one. Plotting a graph from values in a table. Remember, you might be having income values and also expenditure or whatever cost and values. So you must take them from the table, put it in the graph, and come up with your graph. Matching formula to graphs, table based on feature strengths. Substitution, determine the dependent if independent is given. Solving, determine the independent if the dependent is given. Interpretations of a graph. Sometimes you can be given a graph, and from that graph you must be able to answer the question. Maybe the graph, you can see that it starts from 0 up to 50. What will be the value, the maximum value? The maximum value will be 50, the minimum will be 0. You must know things like those ones and answering from the what? The graph. Okay. That is for grade 10. We still continuing I think this is the last part, if I'm not mistaken, under term 1. Term 1 work. No, still have others. Data handling. What must you know under data handling? Grade 10. Use observation to collect a single data or set of data, and develop and use an interview to collect a single set of data. Develop and use a questionnaire or survey. Understand which instruments are most suitable for different situations. We can use things like the interviews. You can use something like the survey and all that stuff. Your teachers will teach you that. Advantages and disadvantages of each type of instrument. Difference between population and a sample. And how to select an appropriate sample from the impact of the choice of sample on the reliability of the data. The other one that is very important is this one of the mean, median, mode, and range of single data sets. If you are given a data, you must be able to calculate the mean, be able to calculate the median, be able to calculate the mode, be able to calculate the range. Okay, but for K10, only single data. Analyze data represented by the above. And now we have also the representation of relationships, the same, knowing this, interpretation of graphs, etc., etc. Right, Mr. Chawalala, we are interested in what will be in the paper. Yes, we are coming to it now, the question layout. This is only what will be in the paper, more or less. And there might be some or one or two things that I have not mentioned that will be there, but majority will be there. Okay. So question 1, it will be 24 marks, my grade 10s. And question 2, it will be 15 marks. What is in question 1, Mr. Chawalala? Question 1 for 24 marks, we are expecting basic skills. Number in words, how to write a number in words. Hala hala. Yes, you must be knowing it. You'll be given 15452. 15452. Write that number in words. 15,452. Okay, if it is it has a value of a money or a symbol of rand, you'll say 15,452 rands. Okay. Number of formats. No number of formats also. Number formats, I'm sorry, not number of formats, Mr. Chabalala. How to write number in different formats. The question will be there. And you must be knowing this. Your teachers, otherwise they will drill this so that you understand. The use of a calculator, you'll be given a big number and say use the calculator to find the answer. Grade 10 is very simple. You can be given 24, multiply, or 24 into bracket 675 plus 8,050, close bracket, divide by 25. You see, you cannot use your calculator if you don't understand those, the BODMAS rule, where to start so that you can get a final answer. So go and practice such numbers using your calculator and know exactly where to start when you are pressing the calculator so that you can get your answers right. Ratios in context. Remember I said to you, you can be given a scenario and say, Martin and Bobby were given 2,500 and determine as to how much will each get if the money is divided with the ratio of 1:3. Okay, you need to know exactly how to work with those 1:3 so that you can get the value for each and the amount for each and every person. I can see your teachers are still writing. They will make sure that if they haven't done examples of such with you, they do them before you write that test of the 19th. Question 2, 15 patterns and relationship. I forgot to tell you that grade 10 will have only 3 questions. Okay? It will have only 3 questions of 50 marks. So you see, I'm going to finish quickly here. And it's not difficult. You will get total, I'm telling you, 15 marks. 50 marks, you're going to grab it. The total paper is 15 marks. Question 2, 15 marks, patterns and relationship. Relationships between 2 variables. Determine the formula, knowledge of direct and indirect proportion. So remember we spoke about this as part of term 1 work. And again, you'll be given maybe a table. Income versus expenditure, the value of that if you have sold so many bottles of water, how much will you get as your income? And out of that, you must be able to draw a graph. Out of that, you must be able to determine the formula, know which variable is depending on the other one, or what you call the direct and indirect proportion. When the other one goes up, the other one goes down. You get a point? So you need to know things like those ones. That is what, when you are trying to express what is direct and indirect proportion. Okay. All right. Then question 3. Question 3, which is the last question for grade 10 test. It will only be 11 marks. Not 11 marks. What will be in question 3, Mr. Chawala? Data handling. Interpreting of data. We can be given numbers there. Maybe the marks of grade 10C for an assignment. The other one got 15. The other one got 40 out of 50. The other one got 35. The other one get 48 and all the stuff. You see that? And you must be able to see if you are looking at those numbers or those marks, whether these learners have done well or not. If you can see that it was total out of 50 and majority got less than 25, can you say they did well? No, they have not done well. So you have interpreted that based on the minimum and the maximum marks. The lowest maybe was 5 and the highest was 15. So you can see that the class didn't do well out of 50 marks. So it is an interpretation. How do you interpret the given data? Okay, don't forget that. Or you can be given stats of different provinces. Okay, whether it is in the achievement of what you call in NSC results, grade 12 result, from one province to another, moving from Eastern Cape up to Western Cape, and we are given the stats. So many learners maybe passed in each and every province, or in the marks for or the performance of mathematical literacy in Eastern Cape was 65%, in Free State it was 88.5%, in Gauteng it was so much. So it can be percentage or whatever, but you must be able to read the scenario or the given information so that you can answer the questions properly. Then the next part of data handling under question 3, you must be able to calculate the mean, the median, and the mode out of the given data. Suppose those marks or the percentage of performance per province, what will be the mean? The mean is an average. You will be adding that Eastern Cape, 60-something, Free State, 80-something, Gauteng, 70-something, Limpopo, up to Western Cape. If you add all of them, you're going to divide by how much? Wonderful, Masubadieta. Divide by 9. Why 9? Because now the provinces will be 9. So you divide by the number of items that you see on that particular data. And median, don't forget, what is a median? You arrange those scores, you arrange that data in the ascending order. What is ascending order, Mr. Chawalala? Starting from the lowest up to the highest, that is ascending order. You put those numbers. If Eastern Cape was the lowest with, or Northern Cape or whatever, with 20%, you write 20%, next one 30, 40, 70, 80, 100, whatever, up to the highest. Then you look at the middle value. That middle value, if you are having, let's say you are having 9 provinces, you'll say 4 on the other side, 4 on the other side, and the one that is in the middle, it will be your median. If you are having 10 data set, you know that you won't have exact median, because you can't say 5 and 5. When you say 5 and 5, you're left with nothing. What are you going to do? You're going to say 4 on the other side, 4 on the other side, the remaining 2 in the middle. After you have arranged in an ascending order, you add the 2 and you divide it by 2, the number 2. Then you get your median. Okay, the mode. Maybe in those results of grade 12, we've got 65, we've got 87, and all of a sudden there are 3 70s, and it's the only number that appears 3 times. That is going to be a mode. It appears more than the others. Right. Don't forget mean, median, and mode. For sure, I saw that question. I'm giving you. Right, go and practice that. Writing numbers in ratios. Know how to write a number in ratios. I cannot overemphasize this. It is very, very, very important to know how to write a number in ratios. It doesn't matter how big it is. Okay, if it is 500 is to 10,000, you must know exactly how to write and that number in ratio. Depending on the question, whether in unit ratio or just say write in ratio in a simplified form, you must simplify it until you cannot simplify it further. So to answer that question of write this ratio in a simplified form. So having said that, you can see that if you take 11, 15 and 24, yes, they will give you 50. And 50 gives you how long? How are you going to write, how long are you going to write this paper? You are correct, Busi. You are going to write out of 50, you're going to write it for 1 hour, 60 minutes. Plan your time, make sure that you are confident with all the questions, and start writing from the word go. After you have analyzed your question well, you have planned that I'm going to start with this one, or just gonna go like in order of 1, 2, 3. Then you get your maximum marks. Don't forget, we are giving you that 50 marks. It's up to you whether you take it or you leave it. Okay, so I want to wish you all the best for the coming test of the 19th. Ensure that you are really ready for that and you get as many marks as you can. And remember, this forms part of SBA. I told grade 11s also that these 50 marks that you'll be writing will form part of your final SBA mark towards the end of the year, then for the report. So don't take these tests, investigations or assignment lightly. You must take them very serious. Prepare, practice, study and study and study before you write. Not only for maths, in all subjects, it is very important that you get good marks as far as SBA is concerned. And lastly, I want to talk to my teachers, especially those who are teaching grade 12. I just want to make a smaller correction of yesterday's presentation, or you can tell your colleagues that we are not going to have simple and compound interest in grade 12 test on the 19th. It's not going to be part of the test because it's not in term 1. So yesterday I said it's going to be there, but when I get home, my colleagues remind me that it is not part of term 1. So simple and compound interest is not going to be there. Wow, I can see what a sigh of relief. So the grade 12 should not bother about simple and compound interest. Just pass the message to the grade 12s, pass the message to the teachers who are teaching grade 12. However, I want to say congratulations, good luck for the coming test. And I know that you're going to really do well and make sure that you get 50 marks for that particular test. From here, IBP at South Campus, University of Free State, myself and Bobby, we are saying to you bye-bye and have a lovely afternoon and ensure that you pass the test. Thank you very much.